Hello, my name is Jasmine Lee, and I am Not Your Mama's Astrologer. New podcast vibe for the week for you. I mean, there's still weekly reading, obviously, but a new one that I haven't sourced a name for yet, but maybe a weekly vibe with friends, probably more often than not with this guy, my partner, Dustin. Say hi.
Hello, everyone.
Mostly just because I think finding a name for something is really important, but I think if you find the wrong name, then you attract the wrong kind of people. So keep your ear out for a good name for me. Maybe for this first episode, I'll call it What's Your Sign? Just a way to not bring in too much astrology talk, but a little more human talk as it relates to astrology. So Dustin is my very first guest ever. I think that's really exciting. And we will say maybe our big three. Like the big three would be our sun, our moon, and our rising. And we'll probably talk a little bit. I made a bowl of questions to pull for us to answer from. And we can bring in astrology or not because couple talk is cool too. But my big three, my sun is a Libra. I'm a Libra sun. I am a Sagittarius moon, and I am a Scorpio rising. What are you, Dustin?
I am a Taurus sun, a Leo moon, and a Capricorn rising.
I think the thing I love the most about us is that we're both ruled by Venus. Taurus and Libra are both ruled by Venus, which is lovely, and we love calmness and peace and love, but just like very different. It's like if you had to go through our love languages, they would be really different. Like, what would you say your love language is?
Acts of service.
Yeah.
Probably.
What do you think my love language is?
Words of affirmation.
It's his favorite. He loves saying pretty things. You could say something pretty right now.
You're so pretty.
I'm so pretty. Yeah, I think that sometimes when you're looking at compatibility, everybody always plays around with the sun signs. But I think that it's more important when you're looking at compatibility to be looking at the moon sign and our Venus signs. My Venus is in Virgo. I'm a high maintenance bitch. What's yours in?
Yeah.
Stop.
Pretty.
I am. He's not wrong.
Sometimes.
What's yours in?
Aries.
Yeah, fire and earth. But what I love about us is we exchange that a lot because I have very little earth and he has loads of earth. And so I think that like where my Venus comes in, being the only earth I really have in my chart, helps us, or at least helps you not want to kill me. So why don't we tell them how we first started loving each other? Who doesn't love a good love story, Dustin? This guy, he loves it. He loves love.
Do love.
Tell me,
Which part?
through your eyes.
Which part?
I don't know, what was like the most beautiful thing about me when you first saw me?
Your face.
It's very basic, bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's
Your
like
laugh.
my laugh.
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
Stands out.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
So Dustin and I he was my stepchildren's math teacher, which is super unsexy. Like I didn't think anything about him at first. I was pregnant, I was procreating in my own right and had like 4 kids that I was raising, and he had a kid, and we were all like deep in parenthood, so we didn't really notice each other in that way, other than my kids loved him as a teacher. And then how many years later? So many years later. Many years later, this is like a fable, long ago and many times later, I had a dream about him. I was newly single, girl was getting divorced, and I was like an awkward I mean, I'm not really that awkward, but it's more just the notion of being single again after your body's wrecked from procreating and your soul is thrashed, but your vagina's like, no, we're awake. We want something. I don't know, maybe that's what it was. But anyway, so he had liked something on a Bookish page that I make on Facebook because I love books. Come and enjoy and read my books with me too on Bookish. Anyway, so he liked something on my Bookish, and that night I had a dream about him where he was my best friend. And then at the end of the dream, we kissed, and I woke up and I was like, you're single. Why don't you just message him and I said, hey, I had a dream you were my best friend, and the rest is history, right? So you're like literally the man of my dreams. How does it feel to be like the man of someone's dreams?
Seems like it's turned out well.
He's really chatty, as you can see, just like me. I mean, you can't get the guy to shut up. So it's also why I made this bowl of questions, because I thought it would be a fun way to get you to open up.
Well, what about
Alcohol too.
the fact that we both have fire signs for a moon?
Oh, that's true. He's a Leo moon and I'm a Sag moon. So like our fires do coincide, but do you think they help us or hinder us when we're in a fight? Like, how do you think that
it probably
goes?
ramps up the fighting, but I imagine it makes it more interesting in general.
I know, if you can play it out in a perfect Libra Sagittarius paradigm, I think that's hilarious, because most times whenever we get in a fight, it's I have said something stupid on accident, like just saying things. Because sometimes when I'm saying things sarcastically, it's funny, and sometimes it's not funny, it doesn't land. And I feel like those are the times we get in fights the most, because then I'll say something really dumb and your Leo moon will like ego attach to that dumb thing, and then your Taurus will get really attached to being right, whatever the outcome is. And then my Libra will just be like, why are you mad at me? For like days.
Yeah.
What do you think is good? Like, how do you think we resolve a fight? Do you think we have like a pattern of fight resolution?
I think it's ever evolving. I feel like
That's like such a politician answer. We're growing every
I feel
day.
like I'm learning how to be more communicative, more consistently.
Mm-hmm. I would
feel
agree
like
with that.
In that way, evolving, because it hasn't ever been my strength, but it's always been
Yeah.
something I'm working towards being better at.
Well, here's something that I'll say about you having a rising sign of Capricorn. So Capricorn rules the house of hard work. If I have a problem with you, I feel like you will maybe not, you never know how you're going to take it in the moment, but if I say something and you hear it, I feel like you take that information and really do find a way to work with it. Like I always see notable changes when we've gone through something hard. And I think that that is like a really important part of being in a healthy relationship, is that even if you don't like what your partner has to say, that even if it's like a few days from now or a week from then, you can reflect and, you know, maybe process in a way that's helpful. I really appreciate that about you. I think that's a really cool way to be. I think that having a Taurus rising is a really big strength, because you're projecting out into the world, because our rising sign is what we project out into the world, a desire to do the work. And not everybody's like that.
Well, and I wonder if the Taurus piece, because sometimes it takes me some time to integrate it and think.
Yeah.
And so the patience component.
Yeah.
Would that be a part of that?
Yeah. I mean, a Taurus is stubborn.
I am.
Just going to leave that there. You Tauruses. Well, I mean, for however lovely you are, you're equally stubborn in whatever it is you're doing. And what makes that excellent, like the high road of being a Taurus sun, is that when you learn something, you learn it all the way through. You take your time to learn it, so that it's not just thought-based learning, it's embodied learning. And I think that that's so attractive to me as your counterpart, being a Libra who's also ruled by Venus, but air-based. Patience has always been my bugaboo. Like whatever I'm doing, I want it right now. And if I'm not getting the results I want, I get really frustrated. So I feel like what can be probably frustrating in our relationship too is that we're moving and operating at very different speeds.
Meaning how? Like like you're going and I'm not? And that's like...
Well, I just feel like, well, first, if we just want to put it into like day-to-day realities between you and I, as I just talk at you all the time, is I'm just always like an audible processor. So I'm talking and talking and talking, and I feel as though your Taurus needs more time to process than just be talked at. And so,
well, yeah, I don't usually process out loud. It usually takes some time to like go over it and then speak versus just say a bunch of words and then
yeah.
hope that some of them like
So someone who
mesh
has,
together.
that's true. That's true. It's yes. But I do feel like you've been very flexible in general with all of my soliloquies. Because I think too that Capricorn rising, it wants to work and mine does not. I want to toil. I enjoy the toil.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you?
Getting better. Do I enjoy the toil? I enjoy working through things. I don't know if the toil and how you usually mean it. It's like a goal of mine to like be with.
It's like our operating systems. We just have like very different operating systems, but I do believe they reach the same place. And the people who are ruled by Venus ultimately want love and harmony and peace. We both want it. We just do it in really, really different ways.
Right. Well, then I guess it also would make sense. Though it seems contradictory to what we're talking about, because mine, Venus is in Aries, which seems on some level to. But I guess that's not about communication. That'd be Mercury.
Yeah, Mercury would be more about communication. But, you know, I see what you're saying when you say your Venus being in Aries is probably like where we really have a good time together. I think that even though my Venus is in Virgo, so even though we have kind of Venuses that might not be compatible, I feel that all of that earth in your chart that is you, that Capricorn, that Taurus, that ability to work through things, stability, the want for stability is what feeds my Virgo Venus, who needs safety, who wants to be safe in a relationship before I can be fun loving and free love and all that jazz. Pun intended. I need that safety piece. Whereas I think that my Sagittarius moon is the thing that plays into your Aries Venus, and that's why we have so much fun together, because I think that that's where we find our lightheartedness is through the Aries Sagittarius connection, because my Sag moon loves adventures, but like safe adventures. Like we don't want to, because of all the rest of my chart. I mean, it's why astrology, I think, can be so deep when you're looking at how you're connecting to your partner, because what feeds one isn't necessarily the same planet. It can be like all kinds of different elements going on that helps balance that out. I think you having so much earth and me having none of it in my chart is what helps bring me to center that you do that. And I think all of my air helps you to put yourself in situations where you have to talk more, like right now. And how's that feel?
It's okay.
Yeah. So I have these little bowl of like questions. I made them up, but they are all mixed.
I haven't seen them.
He has not seen them. They're a surprise. So I'm gonna have you get to pick the first question. He loves it. I ask him questions all the time, and sometimes I get answers and sometimes he has to think about it, but he does circle back around. So this is like a good practice for you.
Do you think the moon affects your vibes?
Yeah.
I feel like it affects everybody's vibes.
But do you like keep track of it? Because I know I do, and I know I talk about it all the time, but it's kind of that thing where when you live with an astrologer, I don't know if you're always, processing astrology at the same, like, weird.
Well, not at the same level you are. And no, I mean, I think it affects me, but I'm not always tuned into like where exactly the moon sign is. But I know that, especially being at a school, because the kids have their shifts, and when you really tune in, it's like you can understand where they're moving. But I don't always necessarily know.
Yeah, if you were talking to someone
details.
who didn't know anything about astrology and you were trying to teach them about the moon, what's something that you would say?
I would say to follow it for a month. You know, like see how every couple days when it's shifting signs, like see if you're noticing
It's like a period.
differences within
Yeah.
it. I mean, I guess ideally you'd follow it for multiple months, but that would be a lot of commitment up front for someone who doesn't know astrology.
Yeah.
But I guess maybe even just start to I mean, some people don't even notice where the moon is in terms of its cycle, you know, full moon, new moon, things like that. But I guess I would say even just start with basics of being more aware, bring awareness to it.
I think you hit that really good. I think too what you just said before is people don't even know what cycle the moon is in. And maybe the first step is the full moon versus the new moon. You know, that a full moon is so crazy and wacky because they are opposites, because whatever sign the sun is in, a full moon, it's in its opposite, and new moons is where the moon is right with the sun in the same sign. So in that regard, like full moons are being a really good time to release, to let go, to not drink or get into trouble, because I'm sure ER doctors have a lot to say about full moons in that way. We don't always make our best decisions on them because we're usually energetically full, and then on the new moon is the time to like start fresh. I feel like I make a lot of mistakes in my life, and I feel like you've witnessed you bear witness to a lot of the life mistakes that I've made, and I feel like the new moon is always a time that I like to forgive myself, and you are actually the one that started us drawing like these new moon ritual cards and full moon cards for like what we're letting go and bringing in and stuff. And I think that that's been helpful in not being so hard on myself, that every moon cycle is a new chance to manifest something different.
Yeah, I definitely tune into that piece, like when the full moon is and when the new moon is. I definitely, the full moon, I tend to not sleep as well those nights.
Our cats certainly don't.
And then just having that feeling of like reset, like a new chapter on the new moon.
Yeah.
But in terms of the astrology, I haven't necessarily quite always put those two awarenesses together.
That's fair.
Another
one. It's drawing you. I can hear it if you're just listening. The rustling of papers.
Do you think the universe approves of us?
I like that question.
Yeah, because I think we're all a part of
all of us. So you think the universe approves of what is one of the most disgusting Hollywood relationships ever?
I personally don't think that the universe judges good or bad in that way. Like says like, this is good, this is good, this is bad. Like I like this team, I like this team, I don't like this team, I don't. You know, if you're thinking in terms of like the God or the other, I don't know, I guess like where you're drawing the line between all those.
I draw no lines. You can take whatever you want from that question.
Yeah, I don't think the universe has the same morals and judgments of good and bad as we do.
But do you think, are you the kind of person that believes that everything happens for a reason, that we are soul-mated, that we are each other's lobsters? Or is it lobsters that stay together forever? There are animals that mate forever. I mean, do you think that the universe conspired for us to meet? Or do you think everything is our own manifestations based on our own choices that could come down to something so small? Like, what if I hadn't messaged you that morning after my dream? Do you think we still would have?
Yeah, that's a good question that I kind of maybe go back and forth on, like what are those things that are going to happen maybe, and then what are the things that are kind of on a whim, like random chance?
Yeah.
In that way.
Do you believe in both?
Yeah, I think there's both. I think there's both of those things. I think there's certain things that do happen based on actions we choose to take in terms of kind of putting more weight in one area or in one direction, and then you're more likely to.
Ooh, so we're going like math and statistics over here now.
Well, I
like
mean, if you're gonna
touching.
get into like doing a whole bunch of drugs versus you're not gonna do any, those are gonna lead you down two very different paths. And
But do you think the
you're gonna meet
paths?
very different people, most likely.
So say one person's chart, say your chart is more set up to be like more prone to drugs and alcohol, like loads of Pisces. Pisces. Yeah, see, you nailed it. So much Pisces that you just have to like escape the world. Do you think that it's their astrology doing that? Which in turn would be potentially the universe's plan, blueprint for that? Do you think that that's real?
I think then it would come down to the belief of like a soul and like a soul's journey. Like, does your soul have an imperative to come into this world at a certain time in certain situations with certain parents to do a certain thing?
Yeah. Do you think that?
I think that's I think I currently subscribe to that idea.
I love that.
That makes sense. Well, I mean, I also,
sense.
am open to those things, but I think at this point, yeah, that's where I'm at. That there's some kind of choice, a soul like is going into say the next life, and decides based on what aspects or what experiences they're wanting or needing to have in that life, and then
I like that.
it's like entering playing a video game or something, and you have like, we're all born with different power bars, we choose to how we set out on this journey.
So you think that everything falls into place on a choice by choice base? Like that our roadmap starts by one choice and so on?
We start with our own operating system, our own set of software, basically like how we're born into this world, the parents we have, circumstances, and then I think there's maybe goals or paths that we have, but I think it could be many things depending on which of those actions we choose to take. Because I think in that regard, it's like choose your own adventure. You're going and it forks and you choose this action and it goes there. And sometimes those actions you can end up in the same place, maybe further down the road. But I think sometimes we make choices and do a thing or don't do a thing. I end up choosing this college instead of this one. I end up in this town instead of this town. I end up,
But do you think all roads, and listen, I died a lot in Choose Your Own Adventures, okay? I've been playing that with my kids and with the 7th grade, and like we die a lot. So taking that Choose Your Own Adventure paradigm, then we just start over and see where the other choices lead. And that's kind of like life in that way, that you make a choice and it doesn't work, and sometimes you have to kind of go backwards and stuff, especially in terms of relationships. But the nebulous of that question is, do you think that, I mean, not that question, but where we've gone to is, do you think that no matter what Choose Your Own Adventures you chose, you would always find me at the end of what you were choosing? Like, say you hadn't had your daughter, or you hadn't, met this other person, or you hadn't done this. Do you still think you would have met this bitch along the way?
I don't know. I mean, then if you're saying like I hadn't had my daughter and those kinds of things, like I feel like there's I think my current operating system, belief system is like we're choosing ourselves in these paths, and that maybe as souls we're choosing this together. I think there's those people that feel like they're just family. Like first time you meet them and you just know them, or they're so familiar because maybe you were, had a relationship before. Or those people that you're just really drawn to, but you don't know why, or you don't know them, or you feel like you've known each other forever and you just met. And, so I don't know. I think there are certain things that are going to maybe come up.
Well, and if you're going down that paradigm, you would have always had your daughter. You would have always had, like, those things would have always been there.
Well, maybe the details of what that is maybe it's that certain souls are meant to be together, and then how they come into each other's lives looks different
Yeah.
in that way.
Do you ever think that that's kind of what pheromones are? That pheromones are really soul recognition receptors, so that you will recognize and be drawn towards those people that you have karmic debt with, one way or the other?
I mean, it could be in the way that your pheromones and your sense of smell operate on such a deep level with memory and other things.
I know, like, you ever meet someone and they smell so bad that you're like, how could someone make out with you?
I guess I was thinking more like certain smells or songs that just like immediately bring back. I don't know if I've ever.
This Libra girl's like, if you smell bad, don't even come
No,
at
I get.
me.
I mean, there's definitely people that have a certain smell. You're like, yeah, we're never gonna.
You're
be
like,
together.
ever, and preferably
We're
not proximal
We're
either.
not gonna hang out a lot, and we're
Yeah.
definitely not gonna be in a commingling relationship.
And you're like picking your
together.
seat. It's like a little bit further
I've had
back.
that. I've had that.
Yeah. Do you think those are people that were bad enough? Do you believe in past lives?
Yep.
Yeah, I do too. Do you think I was like your brother in a past life? Sometimes I feel like we can be really bro-like, or best friends at least, because I feel as though I'm really attracted to you also, which is helpful. But my favorite thing about you is that you're just my best friend. Is that it's really fun to just talk and be together, and that if, you know, I had to choose just having you and not getting to have you romantically, or only have you for like a fling and then never get to see you again, I would choose you to be my best friend over just like a hot sauce lover for a short time. Like,
Yeah.
I'd rather have you always because I like your brain.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
Fun to hang out.
Yeah.
Do stuff.
I mean,
Laugh. Are you answering this question?
I don't know. Should I answer a question?
Oh, we'll see.
Okay.
They're your questions.
They're my questions, so it feels a little biased. But if our relationship was a season, which one would it be? Ew, that is such a basic bitch question. I didn't write that. No, I did. I don't know.
Are
If
you answering?
I guess. Well, what do you think? What season? What
I would say spring because it's just
Aw.
beginning.
It's
And we've
just
only been
beginning.
together for
6 years.
6+ years, so
Do
I think
you-
it's just happening.
This is a segue topic because I like spring, yes, but we're about also to reach our 7 years, and that's when they call it the 7-year itch, where all of our cells have regenerated, so all our cells are different, and that's usually when a lot of couples break up, is when they get to the 7-year itch or start to struggle a lot. And like, your girl is in perimenopause too, so that adds a lot of annoyance to the generalized 7-year itch conundrum. What do you think about that? If we are spring, how do we prepare for our 7-year itch?
I mean, I feel like we haven't prepared yet because we are in our 7th year.
Well, yeah, but I feel like it's more
So
when
we've
the cells
been
have
doing the
already
thing. Well, there's not that much
not much left.
time
Shit.
because we're in like.
Well, we've thought more.
6.
We've had more disagreements. I
almost
feel
6.5
as though
years.
your need for quiet time is more excessive than it used to be. There's a lot of quiet time in the house now. And that's hard for me.
Well, we also live together now, so I don't get that time to go back to my house and just do my thing.
It's true.
So I have to still be able to do that.
It's true. My ex-husband said the biggest reason we split up is because he would come home and I wouldn't stop talking. He said it maybe not, did he say it nicer? I don't know if he said it nicer, but he said it in a different way. But all roads led to your verbal journey is a lot. And so as we come into our 7-year itch, how are you going to combat my overzealous communication style? What do you think about that?
It's not like it wasn't a thing and then it just became one.
I know, but you should think
This
it
is
was
the
adorable.
whole time I've known you.
I know, but you should think it was like, you know those when you're wishing one, and it's like the thing that you thought was the cutest thing about them, 7 years later, is like the most
I don't
annoying
think that
thing
was
about them.
I didn't think that was the cutest thing about you.
What did you think was the cutest thing about me?
Mm.
Not that. You're like anything but that.
No, I mean I like that. I liked your questions. I love your laugh.
Mhm.
I mean, I appreciated your questions, but it wasn't like, oh my god, I love how often she asked me stuff.
Especially like before we go to bed.
Right
That's
when
when
I'm
the
trying to
really
wind
big
down,
question.
Right
you
when I
guys-
open a book and she's
Yeah.
like, hey, it's chat time now.
I know. That's
That's
when
my
like
cue to start asking you questions.
that's when the big ones come
right
up.
when you get
the
into
big
a
ones.
good book.
There's a lot of really good big ones that just like cycle around when we get in bed. But no, cycling back, getting back on track. What is your advice to us if we were to watch this, listen to this podcast when we're hitting solidly into that 7-year itch? What do you think is going to hold us together?
Really just talking about the things.
Ooh,
as
I
they
love
come
that
up.
answer. So when we're in bed and I'm like, but Dustin,
No, I mean, just not bad.
you said we
Just
need
talking
to talk.
at the right times. Just making sure we do all the talking at the right times.
Okay,
That's the key.
appropriate talk times.
Mhm.
Watch, we're gonna have like a calendar. We're gonna be like, when's the best time to have this chat? I do find though that we have really good conversations after we've had bouts of hardship, you know, either in our lives or towards each other. I think that we always come up with really good conversations to have on how to mend and do better. So for me personally, I trust that when you and I have a hard time, that even if it takes us a while to get back there, that once you have felt you've won the argument, we can put the winning part of it aside and take apart how it made me feel.
The fun part.
I mean, I think it's annoying. He is right most of the time. And most of the time, that's not why we're fighting. You know, it's because of like my tone. I think the delivery. I think
Isn't it my
sometimes-
delivery that
I think
gets you
it's
upset?
both. I think it's my delivery first. I think my Sag Moon says something that pings you in a way that annoys you. And then Dustin has this thing, he has like a different voice. You have a different voice when it's like a warning. It's like a warning voice. He's like a little animal. Trying to think what the animal warning thing would be. It's like a growl, or like the hiss does its little you have like a vibe where you're like, okay, and now is a choose your own adventure where like I can keep going or I can like stop.
Do you continue to push?
I think I do.
or do you walk away?
I think walking away is never what I do. And so maybe I will read the
Find a
room.
third option.
Yeah, what do you think that third option should be?
Have patience and read the room more.
Okay, and what's your work?
What's that?
What? Huh?
Wait, huh?
What'd you say? What should you do if you start recognizing your tone and that you're getting lit, or that like I've said something that's annoyed you? Because also what I think
I've been trying to be patient and walk away and not say things in the moment.
I know I hate it when you walk away. So I think I really create a lose-lose scenario for us because I hate that.
Can't pick your poison.
I know. I'm gonna have to
You either have to give me time.
time.
You have to give me time either way, and I'm either gonna like walk away and have some space, or
Yeah.
be separate in the room.
But so being a words of affirmation person, how do we like make sure that I am okay as you're walking away? I think a lot of couples actually have this problem where, and I think what attracts these kinds of couples together is that they balance each other out so much in life tumult. But then in a couple tumult, like when time is hard as a couple, this really isn't helpful. When it's hard and it's us against the world, it's very helpful. But when it's two people where one needs to hear pretty things and be like satiated with kind words, and the other needs space and like action-based realities, how, not just us, it's so many people, I don't think it's just us that suffers from this paradigm. How, and just in general, if you have different love languages, because most people do, how do you, I love this for us, how do we like trade sides? So like the next time we're mad at each other, your job is words of affirmation and my job is acts of service. Like, how can I show you sorry, and how can you just tell me loads of sorries? Like pretty though, in poetry, and like What do you think about that? Do you think that would be like a really hard thing to do when you're mad?
I mean, when I'm mad.
Yeah.
You gotta wait till I'm not mad.
No, we're talking about how we fix when like the heat of a fight.
Well, why rush it? Like, why not let that process through?
Because it hurts me deeper the longer it goes. Like the longer the fight goes,
Well, it's not.
the more it hurts. What do you think? Like, do you know? That's not true.
Well, if you're gonna want to do it, then
You're like, you were a bitch then, you'll be a bitch
no,
now.
I
Anything
just
in
mean
between.
if you're gonna like poke the bear when he's clearly upset, you're running the risk of then like having a bigger something, and then you're choosing that adventure.
And who's the bear? You?
Yeah, in that moment, if I'm mad,
But like, if we make this agreement,
in the moment,
as a
it doesn't
bear,
matter.
when you're getting mad, you're not a bear, you're a human. Can you be like, oh, we agreed that I was gonna try this.
Well, I could try a thing, but it doesn't mean it has to happen like that moment. Like you can
Yeah.
allow the anger or the upsetness or frustration or whatever to like move.
But what if
Love
you're
it.
someone, which over here, someone who harsh words like stay with me forever. They don't just like I can't
That's
just
what I mean.
fight
Then
and then
maybe,
forget.
Then maybe don't
Just like shit it.
say something in that moment unless
Oh.
like because then if you're
Cruising for a
you're
bruising
choosing-
mentality.
that adventure,
Mm.
you're like you're running the risk that some words might come out that aren't like to your liking. Whether that's a tone or a certain phrasing or a
Yeah.
certain word, like then that's if you need it in that moment, you're compacting the like process, and then you're
Yeah.
like putting pressure on the process, and then someone's like pressured.
How would you like to do better in fighting?
I mean, I would like to move through those things quicker.
Yeah, I like that.
That's what
I would like
to do.
to do better at trusting that you aren't gonna stay mad. You aren't gonna always think that way about me. I think that's the really important thing, is that when you think a certain way about me, I think you're always, or that you always have, or that you always will think that way about me. And so I really like the idea of allowing you to have a feeling in a moment that doesn't have to be forever. Would be my work.
Yeah, because sometimes those
Say shit.
feelings aren't even
Spicy
true.
Leo moon.
No?
Well, the things you say to
Like-
me, some of them aren't true, right? Like,
Or the things that you think I'm thinking about you aren't necessarily true.
Oh,
Because
I
you
can
said
fess
that
up to that.
afterwards, where
Yeah,
I was like,
right.
no, I never thought that at all.
yeah, but that's also the danger of not saying much. It's like when you're just mad and you have a very scary mad tone. Like it's intimidating, not
Fair.
scary, it's intimidating.
Fair.
It's a tone that pings in a really intense way in my body personally. I kind of like that. Like not putting thoughts in your head that just because your energy gets sharp doesn't mean that you like, I don't know, think really horrible things about me. You're just upset.
Well, I think when those things happen, your insecurities are the things that you already think I'm thinking.
Or that I already think
tend
about
to come out, or
myself.
that you think about yourself
Yeah.
tend to
Yeah.
come out.
Okay. All right. That went really deep for what season we're in. Hope springs eternal, y'all. May our next fight be riddled with loads of spaciousness for you. And
And me.
okay.
How many of these are we doing?
I don't know.
We
What
can't
time
do the
is
whole
it?
bowl.
No, we're just gonna do 2 more. Do you
Great. That's fun.
do you think knowing our cat's astrology helps us understand them better?
I mean,
I
We
love
only-
my 6 hours ago brain.
we
It was
only
so
know
spicy.
their sun sign.
Well, I know like our orange cat, who's our least favorite. Don't tell him. He just heard. Our orange cat, I know his whole chart because I know his birth time.
Right, but
But I do know, like, our black cat, Herb Dean, is a Gemini. Our other cat, what is she, a Tabby? Our Tabby is a Sagittarius. And our orange cat is a Libra with loads of Sagittarius. Do you think that knowing that we have fiery
Doesn't he
air
have
sign
some of
kitties?
other like asshole sign. You know,
What's the asshole
Oh,
sign?
it's like the
Dying.
13th mysterious.
The
sign.
13th
He's
mysterious
got loads of it.
asshole cat sign?
Yeah.
I don't know. Someone's going to make up something mystical, astrological, whatever about animals. I know it. I wish I could be the bitch that could coin it, but someone somewhere is going to have like a. And then there, fill in the weird goddessy name is in, fill in a sign, a Nubian sign or some shit. And they are this way. No,
Does it
but.
help with I mean, I guess on a understanding them on some.
Do you think about their
different
astrology
level.
sometimes? Do you think about it actively?
I mean, to the degree that you mention it a lot.
Because sometimes I'm ashamed that I share a sign with
I'm
Julius.
not actively thinking about that much, no.
Really, every time I look at our black cat, Herb Dean, who's our black cat, I think about that he's a Gemini all the time. Because
Well, you
he's
mentioned it,
so
so
crazy.
those things are definitely in my periphery because it does.
And
come
Juno's
up
a
for me.
Sagittarius, so she basically meows at him all day long, and in various different tones.
That's true.
And it's almost like
But I don't
she
know,
has
like,
full conversations with
about
us. Chooch too.
Julius
He meows
being
all
a
the time.
Libra, like I don't know.
I know he's not very
He's not
friendly.
very balanced.
Well, he's super friendly with the people that he cares about. And that is a very Libran trait, is that Libras are actually pretty big jerks when they don't like someone. They're like, they're kind of the mean girls. I feel like
That's true.
Libra can
I
be
can
an
see that.
under, I think my shadow side of being a Libra is, I'm not anymore, but I think when I was an underdeveloped low road Libra, I could be kind of shitty, like in my thoughts towards people and
Yeah,
places
I
and
guess I
things.
could.
Yeah. So Chooch checks out, see?
Yeah.
Learn
No, but I
something.
don't.
Julius is Chooch. Chooch is Julius' name. He's interchanging his name.
Yeah, they all have a lot of names.
But you don't really care, is what you're saying. What I'm hearing you say is that astrology feels superfluous to cat rearing.
I mean, I guess it helps to know it, but I don't make active like decisions based on
Well, listen.
it. I don't think.
Maybe there's an opportunity for you to be a better cat dad going forward. I'm
Well,
just
maybe if I knew their full chart.
we'll dive deep into Julius's chart next episode. We'll have him here. Last question of the night. Are you ready?
Mhm.
No, we answered that. That was
What?
weird. It's like an are you a let's talk about this or need space kind of person. And I feel like we already talked about that question.
Okay.
Do you think we are a power couple, a soft couple, or a mildly unhinged couple?
Does it have to be one of those three?
No, you can come up with your own creative
Well, I mean,
couple
if it was
paradigm
those
about
three,
us.
Wait, what?
A soft couple, a power couple, or an unhinged couple?
I don't think we're unhinged. I've definitely been
You've been in unhinged relationships.
unhinged relationships. And I don't think we're. I mean, if I had to choose, I'd say we're a power couple. I don't think we're a soft
I don't think
couple. I think there's a lot of dynamism. Would that be the correct?
I'm here for
Word.
that word. Yeah.
Can be very dynamic, if that's a better use. of
Yeah.
it. Yeah, I guess of those three, that's the one I would choose.
I feel like we bring a lot to each other's table that wasn't at the table without one another. Do you know? Like I feel as though what I am capable of thinking through and accomplishing and doing now is made different as a result of being with someone like you. I feel like in my past relationships, I've dated really fiery people, and you're also really fiery, but it's not what you lead with all the time. And I've dated a lot of people who've led with fiery responses to things. And it's maybe why I take when you're upset more serious, because when you do get fiery, it's with a lot of intent underneath it. And so I take that very seriously.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of synergies in our
Agree.
how we work.
Agree. Well,
And yes, I think the fire
I think
pieces.
also anybody that has a lot of fire in their charts, which both you and I have, I think it's a benefit to us both that I balance mine with air and you balance yours with earth, because we're just giving each other different tools to see the world through. And I think that a lot of times people will be attracted to and date mirrors of themselves, and in that way not grow as quickly as maybe they could because they kept themselves safe being in energy that they recognize. I think especially when we're in younger relationships, we tend to go for people that remind us of our parents or our upbringing or ourselves that feels safe because it's recognizable, not because it's actually safe. And the benefit of us meeting and being together as older, already had children, already done all of that stuff, is that we were looking for something different. And I think that sometimes that can be an extremely helpful tool in self-growth and having a healthy, long-lasting relationship, is when the person contrasts you enough, but you're ready to see that contrast and work on it.
Well, yeah, that definitely helps make it go.
I mean, do you think you were ready to work on a lot of your shit, like in your past relationships?
Yeah, I mean, at different points, I feel like where I was at in that place, I was always, I think, working on myself on some level, but you know, that capacity was smaller when I was younger.
Yeah. Well, what do you think when you think about the most dysfunctional relationship you've ever had? And we don't name names here. When you're doing that, what do you think it drew out of you that was your biggest work? Like, why do you think you dated that level of dysfunction?
Well, I think at that point I was just needing something very different than what I had been with.
Mm-hmm.
So I think sometimes a pendulum can swing.
Overswing, you overshot it?
Too over. Yeah, and I remember at that point, because I had been doing a lot of work and therapy and things and kind of knew what I was working on and maybe had thought I had gotten to some places in there, and then you know, I knew there were still things I was actively working on, and I think that person brought those up. And then even the things, there was even like some, say, anger things or jealousy or whatever, things that I had thought I had worked through, you know, it brought them up in a deeper way and showed me that I hadn't quite, you know, gotten all that out. I hadn't quite scraped the barrel of those issue, you know, containers.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think everyone that we meet and come into contact with, whether we're in deep relationship with or not, is, you know, allows us that searching. Or that.
And what do you think makes us different from all of your other relationships?
Well, I think we're just each in different places than we were before, and I think after time, it's not what, you know, you also have filtered out, you know, as you get older. It's just as much the things that you're not going to allow in a relationship. You know, like I'm this isn't okay anywhere or okay anymore, where before you're like, oh, I can deal with this, or I'm used to this, or I'll put up with this, and after like, I'm not going to put up with that anymore. Especially if it's been something you've had multiple relationships with the same
paradigm in that way?
Or, yeah, just the same conflict or the same issues or the same...
What's something you're not going to put up with anymore? Just so this bitch knows, you know, don't want to be overstepping the thing you're not going to put... I mean, you know, with any relationship, they can end or they can succeed. It's just about what you're putting into it. So what's the thing you're never going to accept again?
Gosh, I mean...
I know I'm putting you on the spot.
Well, I think if they were like never things, then we wouldn't be.
Ooh, so there's room to wiggle.
No, I'm just saying, like, if there was things that, like, I'm never gonna do that or be in that relationship, but then and you had that, then we wouldn't be
together in the first place.
Yeah.
Oh, so I just have the qualities that are not like that.
Yeah, like that would have been a flag where beforehand they would be like, no, filter that out.
See, here it was. I thought you were gonna leave us on a cliffhanger. I thought you were gonna be like,
I mean,
never insert the thing.
Then we come back to the like original piece of like that's something I would need to think about.
Yeah.
For next time, and I can, you know, if there's another episode, I can come back to it, and I'll have to like ponder, because that's not something I know the answer to right offhand. I have to think about.
Yeah, I don't know, and I usually have an answer pretty like drawn up in my mind when we're having these kinds of talks, but I honestly don't know. I mean, other than your basic sins of relationship, like don't cheat and don't like,
I mean, I feel like
you know,
those
lie and don't embezzle
Well, yeah,
money
I mean,
and not
those
tell
are-
me. I mean, that kind of
those are
stuff.
definitely
But like something personal to myself, you know, that's just intrinsic to me.
I was trying to think more
Yeah.
detailed. I mean,
I think just the first thing that comes into mind for me is like what you say matters to me. You know, that if you're gonna say something, know that it's always gonna like matter to me, good and bad.
Mhm.
That anything you say, I'm gonna carry with me always in my bones and my viscera and all of that. And that I've classically dated people that didn't have a lot of a filter, much like myself. And in some ways that makes it fun because you never know what people are going to say when you're in that kind of relationship. And when you're first in love, that makes that really exciting because you never know what's going to happen next, but it makes it really unsafe when you go deeper and intimacy gets required and vulnerability and stuff. And so I think the thing that I've learned better and something I trust in you so far is that you haven't said anything that's like been unmanageable.
haven't been too mean yet.
We've said things I haven't liked, but you've also always been open to hearing why I didn't like that.
Mhm.
You haven't said anything that's been like,
Scarring.
yeah, or like relationship ending moment. Like, yeah, because I believe those exist. Well, thanks for being willing to sit yourself down and take a risk. Dustin is not a podcaster, though he's a podcast enthusiast. He's always listening to podcasts, and
Listened to a lot, but I've never been on.
I know. And I've never hosted or interviewed or been part of one with another person. So in that way, we've been each other's conduit to